Time to do a May update of my 3 raised beds. All of what you're going to see now was sown mostly indoors in March, April, brought out March, April, and they've been in this bed the whole of May, and they've come on some better than others. What we've got here is a row of turnip, or swede, whatever you want to call them, turnip swede. They were all germinated indoors and brought out and planted into the bed. So they were small germinated seedlings brought outside and popped into the bed. These here are dwarf broad beans. They were also germinated indoors, and they were germinated in compost in cells and brought out and transplanted into the bed. As you can see, I've got 2 rows of 5. They all got away except the one, and that's where you'll see a replacement. These are my beetroot and parsnips, also germinated indoors. As you can see, these beetroot have been marked with the small white pebbles. These were beetroot that were germinated indoors on damp tissue. There is a video on my channel that shows you how to do that. These were all brought out and sown at 3-inch intervals, so there's no need for thinning, and by the looks of it, they all got away. These parsnips, they were also sown indoors, but they were sown in compost, and as you can see by the white pebbles, they've all got away. They're all the same size, so every one got away that was put in the ground. They all went in together. This is a row of leeks. They were germinated indoors in compost and then just brought out and transplanted into the bed, and they've all got away. Next we have 2 rows of carrots. Those seeds were sown into the bed. I tried to sow them thinly, and I have a feeling I've sown them too thinly, and there's been poor germination. So where you see the white pebbles, I've actually put more seed in there to try and thicken that rope. So they're not such a success at the moment. And in the far end of the bed, you'll see there are some more parsnips. Those parsnips were seeds germinated indoors on damp tissue, and again I've showed you that in a previous video. They were all brought out and sown as a germinated seed. Now you can see that some are much bigger than others, and that's because the bigger ones took first time, the smaller ones probably fell away, and I had to replace them with some reserves I had that were still on the damp tissue. So we've got 2 more rows of parsnips there, and I actually put a bit more work into the preparation of the bed for those parsnips. If you want to have a look at the video for that one, you'll see what I did. I used my imagination and a coffee table leg. This is my middle bed. I've got onions and shallots in this bed. The shallots are closest to you. The onions are a wee bit further away, and I'll just pan the camera slightly. I don't know if you can tell the difference, perhaps not. And what I will show you right below you is a courgette that I've got grown in this same bed, and it's a bit of an experiment really. If I just tilt the camera, that's the courgette in a cut-off pop bottle. My intention is to have the roots of the courgette in the bed, but try and get the courgette to fall over the edge of the bed onto the gravel path, so that the big leaves won't swamp the bed. Roots will be in the bed, but the plant will be actually growing along this path. Fingers crossed. Now if you're like me, and as far on as me, you've probably had a few onions go to seed by now. I've put a video on my channel that shows you how to take decisive action with onions that have gone to seed. Give it a watch. This is my bottom bed. Just at the bottom of the picture you'll see I'm trying another courgette in a pop bottle. I'm going to bring it over the edge of the bed onto the path, and so that it doesn't wear through when the wind starts blowing it and chafing it on the edge of the raised bed, I've put some piping insulation on there just as a soft buffer. There's some Tom Thumb lettuces about that you can see. There's other lettuces, a mixed batch of lettuces that you can see. I've had quite a few feeds off those. And the beans that you're looking at are dwarf runner beans. I germinated all those indoors, brought them out, got them all away first time, so I'm quite pleased with those. We'll just move down the bed now. Still on the bottom bed, and nearest to you, what should be a row of spring onions. Complete disaster. Most of those haven't germinated. So I've been popping onion seeds in just to try and play catch up. The next row's got radish in, and I've had quite a few radish out of that, and each time I've took radish out I've sown some more seed, so you can see there's some new seed coming through. There are 2 rows of beetroot there that you can see marked with the white pebbles. Again, another germinating disaster. I just brought these seeds out, and I think I sowed these using a seed board that I'd manufactured. I'm not too sure, but those are very sparse, and where the white pebbles are I've actually sown some fresh seeds to try and play catch up. Behind that is a row of white turnip, a fast maturing variety, and again very, very poor germination. And then at the back of the bed you're looking at some spring cabbages that carried on from last year. Just poking their heads up behind those spring cabbages, 3 broad beans, and they are exhibition broad beans. I had 4 seeds left from who knows when. I popped them in, they all germinated. So the idea is that when those spring cabbages come out, those Bunyard's exhibitions will have a bit more room to develop. And I'll just pan you up the bed a bit and you can see what's going on behind it. I think you can see those potatoes growing on in bags. I had those in the raised bed last year, and to be honest, potatoes in a raised bed are bad news because they just take over all the ground. So I've planted those in bags this year, outside the bed, on the path. And I've also got some earlies in 10-inch pots, and there's a couple of videos on the channel if you want to have a look at those, see what I'm up to. I'm looking to be lifting some of those early potatoes in maybe a week or two's time, so it might be worth a look.